For the first time in 5 years, NCIS, the venerable police procedural on CBS, has lost its crown as the most viewed television program. NCIS, which debuted in 2003, was inspired by GHE's popularity. The Navy Yard-based series, although technically a spin-off, has long since established its own identity and achieved enormous success. Its achievements are even the more remarkable considering that it has maintained a devoted fan base on the small screen for more than 20 years. Sadly, NCIS Season 21 suffers a setback as it is unable to maintain its position as the most-watched television program for a sixth year in a row. TV Line has reported that the weekly viewership of NCIS was approximately 9.7 million. Nevertheless, the long-running police procedural loses out to Tracker, a fellow CBS program that debuted during the postponed 2023 to 2024 campaign. The weekly viewership of the Justin Hartley-led effort was 10.8 million. For the first time in 5 years, NCIS does not finish the year as the most-watched series on the list. The good news is that NCIS will continue with Season 22 even after being dethroned. Given the main show's enduring popularity over the years, CBS shouldn't be too concerned about not being at the top of the list. The introduction of a few more spin-offs featuring members of the Major Case Response Team, NCIS, is evidence of the brand's strength. These include Larry Jethro Gibbs' NCIS Origins, which stars Mark Harmon as a producer and narrator, and the upcoming NCIS Tony and Ziva, which stars Cote de Pablo and Michael Weatherly. It's also important to note that Tracker received a lot of attention for a few different reasons. To begin with, it debuted the year after the Super Bowl in its inaugural season. Second, Hartley was benefiting from This Is Us' success as it was his TV return after the show's final. While this does not negate Tracker's interest, it is vital to recognize that its performance was probably influenced by other factors. It would be wiser to wait until the TV ratings for 2024 to 2025 to find out how it stacks up against its competitors, such as NCIS. Considering that Tracker is a new show with no affiliation to an established, profitable brand, its ability to soar to the top of the ratings chart is impressive. It is safe to assume that Tracker will still perform in its sophomore year given that, in addition to its procedural elements, it also retains an air of general mystery. Even if it might not draw as many people as it did in its debut season, it is likely to remain one of the most popular programs, at least on CBS, allowing it to continue. In any event, despite the fact that both NCIS and Tracker have weekly cases, their premise differs greatly enough that CBS can afford to maintain both programs on its schedule. In the end, it seems improbable that the network would cancel a long-running program just because it couldn't surpass the most-watched list for the 6th year running. Some fans didn't think the boat murder mystery case for the NCIS in the NCIS Season 21 final was deserving of becoming the year-end recap for one of the most-watched TV series. Nevertheless, it more than made up for it with 2 captivating tales featuring some of the members of director Leanne Vance. First, the mystery surrounding Alden Parker's Lily, a woman he called during a hallucination after suffering a critical injury on the boat, was revealed in the NCIS Season 21 final. It is believed that Lily is the late sister of the NCIS chief. Second, and possibly more significant for NCIS' future, is what will happen to Jessica Knight. Beyond the conclusion, she was given the opportunity to accept her ideal position, but it required her to quit the team and move to Camp Pendleton. She didn't have enough time to consider it carefully, but she accepted the offer nevertheless, endangering her relationship with Jimmy Palmer. Though it's unclear if she would follow through on her plan to leave, doing so may make it possible for Jane Tennant to join NCIS following the cancellation of NCIS Hawaii. with only Law and Order and Law and Order SVU longer-running scripted television shows than NCIS at the moment. The development of numerous spin-offs indicates that the CBS procedural brand is not slowing down. It's also important to note that NCIS has managed to endure even the biggest cast member departures and yet be viewed by nearly 10 million people is evidence of how strong its fan following already is. Given these, it's reasonable to conclude that NCIS won't be ending anytime soon. Given how well-liked it is, CBS has an incentive to keep it on the air as long as possible. The only thing that may signal the show's termination at this time is if the creators decide to terminate it on their own. It can go on endlessly till then.